Okay, welcome back. Sorry for the interruption. So, as we have said earlier, based on the SQL script that we had earlier, ይሄ ቀደም የሰራነው SQL script ነው. Based on the script, you can see that the foreign key attachment that we have created, for example, if you see the project table is related with two other entities, with a staff and with a client. So if you go to the diagram, the project table, as you can see, it is related with staff and with a client. So the project table is attached with a client. The project table is also attached with a staff. But at the same time, a project table is attached with a task. The foreign key is on the task table. So if you go to the task table live need, you can see that it is associated with a project table. So as you can see, from a project table, we have three attachments. Two of them are foreign keys on the project table. Two of them are the foreign keys in the project table, as you can see. Staff ID and client ID nacho. And the other one is with the task. The foreign key is in here. Project ID. Now, if you want to see how the relationship was created, on the line that connects the two tables or the two entities, double click argan or right click argan, we can see the property. Property ስናይ ይነግረናል ማለት ነው ዲቴይሉ በሁለቱ መሃል associated የሆነው ምን እንደሆነ and any other constraint that you want to put on it እዚህ ላይ ይነግራችኋል like can it enforce replication, enforce foreign key constraints, insert and update ላይ cascade ላርገው ወይ የሚለውን ነገር everything you can set it in here ማለት ነው. So everything that you need about that table can be put in here. ስለዚህ ኮለሞቹ ማን ናቸው ብትሉ ይነግራችኋል. From the task table it is a project ID. From the project table it is PID. ስለዚህ project ላይ ስንሄድ it is PID, whereas task ላይ ስንሄድ ግን from the task table it is proj ID. So you can go to the properties of you are not able to see, right? Now ያያችሁት ነው. Can you see the table? The properties? Okay, very good.
Yes.
Okay, very good then. So as you can see from the task table, I took project ID. So the foreign key column is this one. From the project table, as you can see, it says the primary key column is project ID. So it tells you which one is a foreign key and which one is the primary key. And if you go here and right click and say property, you'll get the same information. From the project table, on the project table, what we have is a foreign key called staff ID. On the staff table, what we have is a primary key, which says staff ID. As you can see, this one has underscore, and this one does not have underscore. So this relationship is actually created by the script that we have written here. And if you go back and compare it with the ER diagram, it's going to be exactly the same. The ER diagram and this diagram is the same. That's why we say, in the conceptual, in the logical, as well as in the physical design, we are developing the same database. Of course, at each level, there are some additional things that we are going to add. So you can go to, let's refresh this one, and you can go to each of the tables. Save ማድረግ እንችላለን. Save እናርገው ካለ ያድርገው. So the database diagram, always ከዚህ በኋላ ብትፈልጉት እዚህ ውስጥ ታገኙታላችሁ ማለት ነው. So if you go to the tables, this is what we mean by the system catalog or the database explaining itself. If you go to each of the tables, ያለውን constraint በሙሉ ይነግራችኋል. ለምሳሌ let's go to the project table. Project table ላይ ብትሄዱ, on the project table, as you can see, let's condense the others. So if you go to the project table, if you go to the columns, it tells you the property of each and every column that you have. For example, it says PID is a primary key with this property. These are the non-primary key attributes without any constraints. And staff ID tells you that it is a foreign key, and client ID is a foreign key. So it has a color marker. The primary key is golden key. The others are gray key. In addition to that, it tells you it is a foreign key within a bracket, whereas this is a primary key. But in addition to that, you can also go to the keys. If you go to the keys, it will tell you that you have one primary key and two foreign keys. So the information is available everywhere as you wish. ከፈለጋችሁ ይሄን right click አድርጋችሁ you can say give me the script. ይሄን script ስጠኝ ማለት እንችላለን. ምንድን ነው በክሬት ስቴትመንት ይሄን ስክሪፕት ስጠኝ ብንለው it will show us እንዴት እንደተፈጠረ ይነግረናል let's wait አያችሁ ምን እንደሚለን እንዴት ፎሬን ኪው እንደተፈጠረ ይነግረናል መጀመሪያ ኦልተር አደረገና ፕሮጀክት ቴብል ላይ ቼክ ያደርጋል ፎሬን ኪ ከዛ በኋላ ምን አለ it references client table ላይ client id ነው ሪፈር የሚያደርገው but it's going to use the ABC ABC software solutions database መጀመሪያ ዴታቤዙን ሴት ያደርጋል ከዛ ዛ ከሄደ በኋላ alter table ያደርገዋል it says alter because we are changing the structure of the database ስለዚህ ምን ይላል መጀመሪያ ቼክ ያድርግ ይላል with check add a foreign key client id ይሄን አድርግ ይላል foreign keyን ሳናጠፋ ይሄን ራን ብናረጋው it say the foreign key already exists ስለሚለን it's not going to be created but each of the things that are available in here primary keyንም ብትሉ it's going to give you that okay ለምሳሌ መልሰን አሁንም ፍጠርልን ብንለው it will show us this is for the primary key and as you can see ባህሪው የተለየ ነው as you can see the nature is different አይደለ so add a primary key ብሎ ነው የሚይዘው and it will create it so whatever we have written can also be converted back ማለት ነው into a script ከተሰራም በኋላ so in this database or in this table if you want to have any constraints ተጨማሪ constraint like check constraint ቢኖረን or if you create a trigger or if you create an index or if you create any statistics it would appear as you can see index like the primary key is created by default remember when we talk about physical database design we said database management system softwares would create indexes by themselves ስለዚህ primary keys automatically index ይደረጋሉ but you can also create your index for your database we are not going to go to that level at this moment but this is how you are going to create your database ማለት ነው now we know that ሁሉም ላይ value ማስገባት ስለማንችል but የተወሰኑት ላይ value አስገብተን ለማየት እንሞክር for example let's insert values only on the staff and on the client and client phone table related ስለሆኑ ማለት ነው እሱም ብቻ እናርግና let's see so first let's see the structure select everything from tableችን manage the first one is a client table then let's have select again everything from the other one is client underscore phone no አይደለ no underscore የለው yeah client underscore phone no okay sorry this is select so if we run these two scripts as you can see it will tell us or it will give us the schema of the two tables ስለዚህ መጀመሪያ ላይ client table ላይ እናስገባ the instruction is or the instruction that we have in here is insert into so we'll say insert into then we have to after insert into you have to give it the name of the table so we say into a client table then we have values now then after that you are going to open brackets mind you whatever value that you are going to give in here should be identical with the columns that we have in that order if you don't have a value for it make sure to put null you cannot jump it or you cannot miss it so let's go to the client table to see the data types and the data types are character all of them are character so we have to put it in a bracket so the first one is client id so let's call it C01 envelope then we have the name of the clients let's call it man envelope some envelope okay then the next one is a street number it's character ብለናል let's say በላይ ዘለቀ street envelope character size of 15 ስለሆነ ይበቃናል suburb is let's say አዲስ envelope then state is again አዲስ envelope then postal code ባይኖረኝስ then I'm going to say I have to say null ልዘለው ስለማልችል And the client type is, let's say, golden below, classifying argachon below, or internet below, instead of this enterprise and below, enterprise customer, no wallet. So after we have this one, execute nominal. When you execute, if everything is correct, it will say one row is affected, Ilana. As you can see, it says executing, but it said there is a problem. The object name, I think I didn't get the name of the table correctly, so it is client. So I'm going to execute it again. And as you can see, it says one row is affected, which means one value has been inserted into a client table. So if you run a select statement, you'll see that that record has been inserted. C01, Alsam, Belay Zellaka Street, Suburb Addis, State Addis, the postal code, I don't have it, and the client type is enterprise, okay? What if I have more, then I'm going to have more of this insert statement. So let's have 3 more clients. Client number 2, client number 3. This one is ABC. This is Bole. And Addis. Okay, ይሁን ችግር የለውም. The postal code is 1234. Then the enterprise, let's call this one government ነው ለማለት. And let's have client 3. ምን እንበለው ይሄንን? ምን እንበለው? ፔንዱለም እንበለው እንግዲህ ነው። ከየት መጣለ እንዳትሉኝ. This is then let's call it, I don't know, አዲስ ከተማ እንበለው እንግዲህ and okay, the postal code is ይሄ ነው እንበል. It is an enterprise or private እንበለው ይሄንን ደግሞ private. Let's have the fourth one. Mind you, if you repeat the primary key, then it would deny, right? We know this. Let's go to this one. Be senior below, and this is a place where we have this is, let's say, Mercato, and this, let's call it Mercato again, and let's call it okay, this again to know and plan. The postal code, I don't have it. The enterprise is gov again. GOV channel in all the cases. Okay, so let me execute this 3 insert into statements. Okay. So when we do that, it says 3 rows have been affected. So when I execute this, it shows that the 4 clients have been inserted. Now, after we did this, the next thing is to insert a phone for a client, okay? So the instruction is the same. Insert into, the table is client phone, okay? Then values. Now, if you go to the client phone table, and then if you go to that table, here we have the table. The columns that we have are, I think, 3, right? ያሉት 3 ናቸው አይደለ? እዚህ ጋር ሄደን ራን ብናረጋው the client phone, as you can see, it has client ID, phone type, and phone number. So we'll say the values would be, so the first thing that we have to do, give is a client ID, but here you have to be very careful. The client ID, since it's a foreign key, እዚህ ጋር እንደምታዩት ነግሮናል አይደል? Client ID is a primary key as well as a foreign key ስላለን, the value must exist in the parent table, which means in the client table. So all of them are characters. So I have the first one, the second, and the third attribute. For the first one, we can have client 02. The phone type is mobile, and the number is 12 envelope. Okay. So we will execute this, and automatically 1 row is affected. And if you run a select statement on the client phone table, you can see that the record has been inserted. Client 02 has a mobile, which is this one. Now, let's say, what if the client has another phone, but we wrongly say it is a mobile. 23 እንበለውና እንስተው. Mind you, the primary key of this table is primary key one, no, client ID and phone type together. So already the C0 to mobile it already exists. ስለዚህ run እናድርገው ብንል this one is not going to accept it because it contradicts with the primary key constraint that we have. So it says it violates the primary key constraint because we say the primary key is the client ID and the phone type. ምን እያልን ነው ያለነው? አንድ phone type አንዴ ብቻ ነው store የሚደረገው ለአንድ client ብለናል ማለት ነው. So what if I change this one to home? ወደ home ብቀይረው it will work. Okay? So execute ስናደርገው it says one row is affected. So what about if I have another one for office? And that is 25, 25, 25 ብለን. Let's insert this one. So again, this will be inserted fine. So when you execute this one, it shows you that for client 2, you have 3 phones for home, for mobile, and for office. And you can do this for all the other clients as well. For client 3, for office, you can have 66666. Sorry. እንደዚህ እናድርገው. So we'll run this one. Then for client 1, for mobile, let's say I have another one. Sorry. So execute this. So when you select the phone, you can see that for client 1, I have 1 phone number. For client 2, I have 3. For client 3, I have 1. But you can add any number as you wish, Malek. So all the tables that you have can be inserted or can be populated with value using an insert into statement. So this is what I have for you in creating the actual database after having a physical design or the physical specification of the data. Okay? Do you have any question? ወደ ሁለቱ ጥያቄዎች እመጣለሁ. የኃይሌና የቃላብ ከዛ ውጭ ግን do you have any question?
ጥያቄ ነበር እኔ።
Okay.
ሰማል ዶክተር
ይሰማል? አዎ። ትንሽ ጮክ
የደራይቭድ ሲሆንና ወይም ደግሞ መልታይ ቫልዩ ሲሆን እንደዚህ ነው የምንሰራው እንደ ኮምፖዚሽኑ ነው የምንሰራው?
No. Multi-valued ከሆነ it has to be a separate table. If you remember, why did we create the select client phone table ለምን ነበር የፈጠርነው? In the ER diagram, client phone was multi-valued. ስለዚህ ምን አደረግነው? Multi-valued attributes must be separated አይደለ? In a different table. That's why we created a different table. Derived attributes are not going to be put in a separate table. You have to remember this. They are just calculated, በቃ calculated ናቸው ያለን ነው እንጂ they are not derived. So make sure not to confuse derived with multi-valued. Derived ከሆኑ ከናንተ የሚጠበቀው ምንድነው? During insertion, you have to do calculation ማለት ነው. You have to do some kind of calculation during insertion. ከየት ተነስቶ ነው calculate የሚያደርገው የሚለውን ታዩና you are going to update the value ማለት ነው. Okay?
Okay, ግልጽ ነው።
እንደዛ ነው።
ግልጽ ነው ዶክተር።
Okay.
ይቅርታ
ዶሜን ተነስተን ክሬት ማድረግ እንችላለን? ይቅርታ።
አቤት።
ቴዎድሮስ ነኝ።
እሺ ቴዎድሮስ።
መጀመሪያ በዶሜን ክሬት አድርገን በዛ ዶሜን ተጠቅመን ቴብል እንደገና ካራክተር በዚህ በዳታ ታይፑ መፍጠር ይቻላል? ከዶሜን ክሬት አድርገን ከዶሜኑ ተነስተን እንደገና
ታይፕ ትሰራለህ ማለት ነው ቴዎድሮስ መጀመሪያ።
ኦኬ መጀመሪያ እንደዛ መስራት ታገኝ።
that data type is callable. create table ላይ you can call it.
Okay.
Any other question?
ይቅርታ ዶክተር። ያቂ ነበረኝ።
እሺ
የእንትን መልቲ ቫልዩ እና ይሄ ኮምፖዚት ላይ ትንሽ ኮንፊውዥን አንድ ኮንፊውዝ ያደረገኝ ኮንሰፕት ነበር። ለምሳሌ አንድ ሪቴል ስቶር ወይ የኢኮመርስ ዌብሳይት እየሰራን ወይ የሆነ ዳታቤዝ እየሰራን ከሆነና አንድ ማቴሪያል ለምሳሌ ቲሸርት እንበል የተለያዩ ከለሮች አሉት።
አዎ
እነዛ አሁን የተለያዩ ከለሮች ስትል ያ ቲሸርት ራሱ ማለት ነው የሎና ጥቁር ነው እንበል አሁን ይሄ መልቲ ቫልዩድ ነው ወይስ ኮምፖዚት ነው
now
specific entity ያወራን ስለሆነ ማለት ነው
okay let me understand this አንድ ሸርት አለ ለምሳሌ ሸሚዝ ነው የሚሸጠው for that shirt do you want to have multiple colors
no ራሱ ሸሚዙ is composed of different colors like ቢጫ ከላይ የሆነ ቢጫ ከላይ ከስር የሆነ ባንዲራም ይሁን ብቻ ራሱ አንዱ ሸሚዝ ማለት ነው
yes yeah I got you
አሁን የዚህ ቲሸርት ብለን ከለር ስንል መልቲ ቫልዩድ ነው ወይስ ኮምፖዚት ነው
as you wish but most of the time if you make it composite you are assuming that it has a fixed number of colors አሉ ነው የምትለው ለምሳሌ you make color to be composite how many colors do you have that would be the question ምን ሊሆን ይችላል ለምሳሌ እንደሱ ካሰብክ you are going to have at least basic colors blue red yellow green white ትልና composite ይሆንና for each of the clauses you are going to have what we call እንትን ይሆናል flag ይሆናል 0 or 1 ታረጋዋለህ if it has 1 color አለው ማለት ነው if it is 0 color የለውም ማለት ነው but if you make it composite you should understand that the value I mean you assume that there are fixed number of colors ማለት ነው for every shirt ለምሳሌ አንደኛው shirt what if it is only white like 1 ይሆንና all the other columns would be 0 ማለት ነው which would be convenient for searching but what if you have በጣም ቡራቡሬ የሆነ ነገር ቢኖርህስ so your system should be able to fix the number of colors if you make it composite if you make it multi-valued then you are allowed to have as many colors as you wish አንዳንዱ would have only one color አንዳንዱ ልክ client for ላይ እንዳስቀመጥ ነው as you can see in here ይታያል አይደል እዚህ ጋር ለምሳሌ color ብለህ አስበው phone numberን color ብለህ አስበው so one ይሄ close ነው ብለን ብናስብ if c is a close number 2 ሁሉ it has 3 type of colors እያለ ነው but close number 3 has only one close number 1 has only one color እንላለን ማለት ነው it is up to you but you have to know the limit you have to know the restriction
okay አሁን መልቲ ቫልዩድ ሆኖ አሁን አንድ ቱፕል ብናይ ማለት ነው የመልቲ ቫልዩድ ሆኖ ስለዚህ ከለርና አሁን እንትን ስንል የአንድ ቱፕል ሚኒንግ ምንድነው because የአንድ ከለሩን የዛን ቲሸርት አንድ ከለር ነው የሚነግረን ግን
exactly
like በኋላ ኩዌሪ ስናረግ ወይ የሆነ ነገር ስናረግ የዛ ቱፕል ሚኒንግ ምንድነው
የዛ ቱፕል ሚኒንግ ምን ይሆናል መሰለ it has two meanings for example what if you say give me a shirt which has a red color ካልከው okay give me a shirt which has red color ካልከው የትኛው ነው ያለ ለምሳሌ let's assume እዚህ ጋር phone number ያለው color ቢሆን ምን ያረጋል እዚህ ውስጥ red የሚባሉትን በሙሉ ያመጣና it will give you the clause id the other one is what if you want to know the color of a specific item a specific item ስትለው you are going to give it the id of that item right ለምሳሌ እዚህ ላይ የክሎዝ 02 color ስጠኝ ስትለው ምን ይላል close 02 3 ጊዜ appear ስላረገ it has this color and this color ብሎ ይሰጠናል ማለት ነው so you can search it from both sides you can search the color and go to the item or you can go to the item and look for the colors that it contain ስለዚህ search ስናረግ any of the columns can be taken okay
color code እና description መያዝ ይቻላል ምናልባት
ይቻላል the attributes are up to by the way Heros Nakala, I'm sure that you're not, making me to do your project, right? እያሰራችሁ ነው እንደ ፕሮጀክቱን
እንዲገባ ነው ለወደፊቱም እንጂ
but that's how you say it okay the attributes that you decide for the item can be anything but the design is your preference you can make it composite attribute but if you make it composite attribute you have to know that the number of columns would always be fixed ወይ ተጠቀመዋለህ ወይ አትጠቀመውም እንጂ the number of columns would be fixed if you make it multi-valued you can add any number or you can totally remove it okay ቀደም እንዳልነው ለምሳሌ what if you are concerned about only 5 type of colors of a clothes? ስለሌሎቹ ባይጨንቀን composite ካረጋችሁት you need to have 4 columns. ጥቁር ብቻ የሆነ ልብስ ቢመጣስ? In one of the columns value ትሰጡትና all the other columns would have a value of null ማለት ነው. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Any other question? ከሌለ ሁለት የተነሱ ጥያቄዎች አሉና እሱን ጥያቄውን ላምጣላችሁና I'll try to explain. ውስጥ ገብተን አንሰራቸውም but I will try to explain what it means. የመጀመሪያውን ጥያቄ ጠየቀን ኃይለ ማርያም ነው። ጥያቄው የሚለው ምንድነው? What if we want to update two tables using a single query ነው የሚለው። ጥያቄውን ስፔሲፊካሊ ለማንበብ if we take a product image አይደለም. If we want to add a single product, we have a stock ይሄ picture ነው የጠየቀኝ። ኃይለ ማርያም አንዴ ጠየቀኝ picture database or image database እንዴት እንይዛለን የሚል ነው. If you remember the binary image data type አለን. But that would be a very large size. So most of the time, what people do in an enterprise system development is they use the path of, the path where the file is stored as a string. ለምሳሌ create table ሲያደርጉ ምን ያደርጋሉ? ለምሳሌ let's say እዚህ ጋር staff ኖሮ picture ቢኖረው እንደዚህ ይላሉ ማለት ነው። photo ይሉትና they will have photo ይሉትና character size of 200 or something ይሉታል። እዚህ ውስጥ ግን የሚያስቀምጡት ምን መሰላችሁ? as a value ልክ እዚህ ጋር አሁን value እንዲህ ብለን እንዳስቀመጥ ነው what they are going to put in here is a path. ለምሳሌ እንደዚህ ብለው ያስቀምጣሉ። see let's say employee photo ይሉና the file name ለምሳሌ የዚህ ሰውዬ employee 01.jpg ይሉት ይችላሉ ማለት ነው። so value ሲያስቀምጡ እንደዚህ ያስቀምጣሉ but they know that እዛ ፎልደር ላይ ሲሄዱ e01 jpg is the picture of employee 01 ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ it would be defined as a string and they are going to put the path where the file is found. so በኋላ when you attach it with the interface ይሄንን ዴታ ይወስድና ኤክስፕሎር አድርጎ ፎልደሩን ፒክቸሩን ፒክ አድርጎ it can post it on the user interface ማለት ነው። so that was the first question by Haile Mariam. The other question is there any option that help us to insert a whole data using a single query like into multiple tables ማለት ነው? That is not allowed in SQL Server. Oracle ላይ ይቻላል, but in SQL Server you cannot have a single query that send data to two different tables. እንደሱ ማድረግ አንችልም. But what you can do is you can put the two insert statements as a transaction. እንደዚህ ማስቀመጥ ትችላላችሁ። ለምሳሌ start transaction ብላችሁ insert into table 1 ይሄን value, insert into table 2 ይሄን value, commit, which means commit ካልመጣው ሁለቱንም አንዱ ያረጋቸዋል ወይም rollback ያረጋቸዋል ማለት ነው። But in Microsoft SQL Server we don't have one instruction that can insert data into two tables. So that's not possible, highly. Okay. The other one, ቃላብ የጠየቀኝ image processing ላይ this is idea. ሁለተኛው, can we have a query to adjust a specific cell content based on some action like reducing the stock when an item is purchased? ለዚህ refer ማድረግላችሁ is the trigger that we have created in the class. እዚህ ላችሁ እንደሆነ we have created a trigger that creates a log file. ምንድነው ያደረገው? Whenever an insert happens in one of the tables, ምን ያደርጋል? It would create another record on a separate table. Don't forget that we have posted this on our course website. ስለዚህ እሱን ማየት ትችላላችሁ። ቴብሎቹን ስላልፈጠርኳቸው ራን ማድረግ አንችልም እዚህ ላይ, but I'm going to show you the script. Okay? I will show you the script, but you can execute it later on. I'm not exactly sure syntax error ሊኖረው እንደሚችል አምናለሁ because I haven't run it. But this is how you are going to this is how we the procedure to do it. Create trigger item update እንለውና ማላይ ነው የምናደርገው. Let's assume that I have a sales table and an item table. ምን ነው sales table affect ሲሆን item table ላይ ሄደ ኳንቲቲውን ቀንስልኝ ነው። ስለዚህ አንድ ዕቃ ስሸጥ የሸጥኩትን አማውንት ሄዶ item table ላይ affect እንዲያደርግልኝ ነው። ስለዚህ ምን አልኩት the name of the trigger is update table on the sales table ላይ ነው happen የሚያደርገው for update, which means the moment the sales table is updated ማለት ነው. as አልኩና declare አደረኩኝ I'm going to have this information. መጀመሪያ I need to have the sales quantity, I need to have the item ID, the item which is sold, I need to have the balance, and I need to have the quantity from the item table. የተሸጠውን ፈልጋለሁ የተሸጠውን quantity የተሸጠውን item ID ፈልጋለሁ currently ያለውን ባላንስ ፈልጋለሁ ቀጥሎ ደግሞ ኖ ኳንቲቲውን ማወቅ ፈልጋለሁ ባላንሱ ደግሞ ካልኩሌትድ ማለት ነው ስለዚህ the balance is the quantity minus the sales quantity ይሆናል ማለት ነው ከዛ ምን አልኩኝ inserted ላይ I'm going to pick two things አንደኛው የተሸጠውን the sold quantity I'm going to copy to sales quantity sold item ማን እንደሆነ ለማወቅ sold item ላይ item ID-ውን bring ወስዳለሁ ማለት ነው inserted ላይ then from the item itself I'm going to put bring the quantity stock ውስጥ ያለን quantity ስንት ነው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ quantityውን ወሰድኩኝ የተሸጠው item እንደሆነ አወቅኩኝ sales quantityውን አወቅኩኝ ከዛስ በኋላ balance ማለት item ውስጥ ያለው quantity ሲቀነስ የsales quantity ነው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ እቺ ነች አፕዴት የምትደረገው ባላንስ ነች የምትጻፈው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ ምን እላለሁ ሶሪ እዚህ ጋር ባላንስ ነው ማለት ያለብኝ እንደዚህ ነው ምለው ማለት ነው ስለዚህ ምን እላለሁ ልክ whenever the sales quantity is greater than 0 ሆነ ማለት ተሸጧል ማለት ነው 0 ከሆነ I'm not going to do anything whenever it is greater than 0 begin አረግና update the item table set the quantity ወደ ምን ወስደዋለሁ into balance ማለት the current quantity minus the sales quantity ማለት ነው where the item ID equal to item ID ማለት ነው እዚህ ጋር የወሰድነው item ID ምክንያቱም only for that specific ID item ነው update የምናደርገው ማለት ነው and if you run this trigger the moment you update the sales table item table-ን እየሄደ update ያደርጋል ማለት ነው so the mechanism that you have to use Kala for this purpose is to use a trigger okay 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 ጥያቄዎች አሉ okay is everything clear mind you since I'm going to post the video ከዚህ በኋላ መልሼ post ስለማድረግ you can go back and see it and along with that one I will also send you the script the whole script አብሬ ልክላችኋለሁ so you can validate whatever we have said okay
okay እዚህ ጋር ጥያቄ አለኝ
እሺ
ትሪገሩን ስንፈጥር ስፔሲፊካሊ ቴብሉ ላይ መርጠን የሚሰራው ቴብል ላይ ስፔሲፊካሊ ሄደን ነው
ኖ ትሪገሩ በማን ነው ኢኒሺየት የሚደረገው አሁን
ትሪገሩን
እዚህ ጋር ትሪገሩን የምንፈጥረው ምን ላይ happen ሲሆን ነው ሴልስ ቴብል ላይ ሲሸጥ ነው አይተም ቴብል አይደል ሞዲፋይ የምናደርገው ስለዚህ ትሪገሩ የሚነሳው ሴልስ ቴብል ላይ happen በሚያደርግ ነገር ነው እንጂ በአይተም ቴብል ላይ አይደለም ስለዚህ ምን እንላለን ትሪገሩ ሴልስ ቴብል ላይ ይሰራና happen ሲያደርግ ግን አፕዴት የምንሰራው አይተም ቴብል ላይ ነው ማለት ነው የእንትኑን ቴብል ብታዩት የሎክ ፋይል የሰራንበትን by the way ከተቋረጠ መልሳችሁ ጆይን አድርጉ የኦዲት ሎጉን የሰራንበትን አይታችሁ እንደሆነ ምንድነው ያልነው የኢምፕሎይ ቴብል አፕዴት ሲደረግ ሞዲፊኬሽን ግን የሰራነው የት ላይ ነው ሎግ ኦዲት ቴብሉ ላይ ነው የሰራነው አይደለ so create trigger ብለን on የምንለው is the table that would initiate the action So item table ላይ modify የምናደርገው is only when a sales happen. ስለዚህ sales ላይ happen ሲያደርግ item table ላይ ሄደ modify አድርግ ነው የምንለው ማለት ነው በኃይሉ። Okay?